And on the front page of our first paper, which is the Daily Trust, 145 killed as bandits attack 23 plateau villages. Residents seek international community's help. Governor Mutfwang urges vigilance. Where did he urge this vigilance? I'm a bit confused. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Take ownership of security, defense chief tells Nigerians. I don't know if you saw that clip as well. Still on the front page, Kwankwaso holds special prayer in Kano ahead Supreme Court judgment. Israel kills over 100 at Gaza refugee camp on Christmas Eve. Interesting and sad. So it seems that the killings are not just here in Nigeria. Kuka to Tinubu, you have no excuses. God won't forgive you if you fail. Federal workers observe Christmas without December salaries. We're not in charge of payment, says HOS. It's being worked on, says Accountant General. Official blames technical hitches. Implementation of Tinubu's resolution not at detriment of my freedom, says Fubara. Flight delays, cancellations worsen as NCAA pleads with passengers. How naira scarcity, devaluation, inflation, others dominated economy in 2023. I'd like us to, of course, start off with a big story, 145 killed as bandits attacked 23 plateau villages. It was the eve of Christmas when this unfortunate incident happened, on the border, the fact that we're looking at a country that's already struggling with the harsh realities of living. What are your thoughts on this unfortunate slaughtering of Nigerian citizens?
What is there to still say about all these gruesome killings every day? I don't think there's anything new to say. Nigeria, some who claim to be more patriotic than others, if you say so, they will say you are not patriotic. But Nigeria is a failed state. Look, and the government, this is the height of irresponsibility. The primary responsibility of any government is to secure lives and properties of the citizenry. Beyond that, there's nothing else. You don't have any reason whatsoever being in government. But we see this happening over and over and over again. In fact, you say now 145, I think AFP last night said 160 and over 300 people injured. And the attack started from Saturday night, which is 24th, and went on to Christmas Day.
Nothing.
And where were the security?
And that's a very good question that you've asked. I want you to talk a little more about that because we had a guest, Barrister Daliop Solomon Wantiri, who had talked about the fact that, yes, he did say that he wasn't holding brief for the security operatives, but at some point he mentioned that, he applauded the current administration's response to insecurity in Plateau State, saying, yes, that they need to do better, but he applauds them for their swift response. And when we asked him, he said that before now we would see security operatives participating in the chaos rather than responding, but that we're seeing an improvement. So would you really agree with him that there's been an improvement in the security status of Plateau State and the way the security operatives have handled it?
We have a way of explaining away our incompetence in this country, and it drives one mad. People come and tell you, we have seen improvement. And what is that improvement? The same killings are taking place every day. Look, this is not necessarily a question of blaming security officials. Hey, for all I care, there are about 300,000 soldiers in a very chaotic situation as we have, with a population of over 200 million and a landmass that is more than how many? 900,000 square kilometers or whatever. So it is practically impossible for them to do that. In any case, we are also talking about a security that is not only stretched, almost to the point of breaking, poorly remunerated, and there is no motivation to serve. All these things go back to political leadership. Our president is in Lagos, enjoying the Christmas break. In any other country, where you wake up in the morning and you say 145 of your citizens, or 160, or whatever, we are brutally murdered. There should be some kind of shock that we don't see again in this country. The president must be addressing the nation by now and street instruction. Because, you see, we have all these, you condole with the victims, all those things you say to calm down frayed nerves. 2 days, 3 days, 1 week down the road, we go back to square one. As we were talking about that, some people were also murdered in different parts of the country. 3 people were murdered in the Catholic Church in Ebonyi the same Saturday night. And what are we talking about? How can you wake up in the morning and you're not sure that you are on your bed and you're not sure you're going to come out in the morning? Not because there was any natural cause for your death, but some people. Who are these people, for God's sake? And why is it almost impossible?
Yeah. So, I mean, you did mention that Nigeria is a failed state. Bishop Kuka here is saying that you have no excuses, God won't forgive you if you fail. I don't think that's going to be very convincing. But, you know, I want us to understand if we, so I feel like I have a theory, you know, that says that we accepted a standard of governance from Muhammadu Buhari. The standard of governance that when, you know, 500 people are killed, you know, he doesn't need to address anybody. He has press, you know, people come and give wild statements, Femi Adesina and the likes, and tell you that you should even be grateful self that it's not as bad as it was during Goodluck, you know, Jonathan's time. Have we continued with that level of governance, and has the Nigerian attitude towards death continued in the Tinubu administration? Is that why we, you know, of course, shouldn't expect that there would be any, you know, change in attitude? The president will enjoy his Christmas in Lagos on Bodilon. His press people would, of course, come and tell you that you should stop shouting, and we just move on.
It will even get worse. And I say this with all sense of responsibility. If there was anything that we observed under Buhari that we thought was out of sync with what good governance will be, it will be worse under President Bola Tinubu, unless those who are lying to themselves or those who don't know the antecedents of what we are dealing with. And look at all the things this administration in the last 6 months or thereabout. Look at all the things they have got away with. These are things that before now, they would have brought the country down in protest. Unfortunately, we have a situation where those that champion protest, those that are masters, are now in government. And Nigerians, see, part of the problem we have in this country is that we cut a lot of slack for our leaders. And as long as we continue on that trajectory, nothing will change.
Yeah, we create excuses for them. We find ways to defend their incompetence. And this is just another example. The Punch this morning doesn't even carry the story of the people who died in Plateau State, just to show you, you know, how you know, insane it is. But on the Daily Trust, we can quickly comment on this before we move to the Punch. I think we should move to the Punch newspapers. It says that 13 states plan fresh 2.3 trillion naira borrowing. States loan to hit 4.73 trillion. Abia, Niger to raise debt profile by over 200%. States engaging in reckless borrowing despite owing salaries, says the NLC. River State PDP fumes as Fubara defends Tinubu over peace deal. Over 50 killed, soldiers injured in multiple plateau attacks. CBN investigator summons Lemo and others over Union Bank deal. Naira weakens to 1,233 to the dollar, the parallel market. Suspected cultists kill Edo broadcaster on Christmas Eve. That's a sad story. And 11 killed in Osun, Lagos-Ibadan expressway crashes. All right, I think I can just have you quickly speak on one or two others this morning. First of all, just to once again note that the death of over 145 Nigerians, only, got a tiny mention on the Punch. If you look at the top middle of your screen there, just a tiny mention, that's all they got. There are other things more important than the value of the Nigerian life. The CBN investigator story, let's have you share your thoughts on that one. Godwin Emefiele is still in the news. There are many claims that have been made by the Obaze investigative report about the things that he supposedly mismanaged or, mismanaged basically funds. So let's get your thoughts on that first. What does that report, mean to you?
Well, it doesn't mean much to me, to be very, very honest. You see, I don't think there is anything anybody can say to justify what Emefiele did in office. For somebody who ought to be a professional at that level, to be so carried away to do some of the things that he was accused of having done, it is inexcusable. And just like Professor Kingsley Moghalu said the other day, Emefiele may even go down in history as the worst CBN governor Nigeria has ever had.
It depends on what ratings you're placing them against. It depends on what the standard is.
Well, the standard is what he did in office. But that said, I don't also give much credit to what Obaze and the report that he rolled out. Now, we are dealing with a government that believes that propaganda is an act of governance. Look, this man was given a job. Go and do this job. He's finished his job. The normal process should have been to submit the report to those who appointed him, and that should be the president. I'm not too sure that was what transpired. Instead, the report, which, by the way, was not signed ab initio, was leaked to the press. I got it on good authority that report was leaked from the presidency and given to 4 newspapers. I'm not going to mention their names. So if that were to be the case, and there is nothing to tell me that it wasn't the case, that what were they trying to achieve? Like I said, I can't make any excuses for Emefiele because most of the things that he did not make sense to me at all, particularly his attempt to join the presidential fray. But the fact of the matter is that, look, how can you say that this man redesigned
the
Naira without presidential approval?
How is that even possible?
When Muhammadu Buhari had come out openly to say, it was on my authority, I authorized this, not once, twice. So how do you now say, if indeed it is true that Buhari did not know about such a big project undertaken by the CBN, I think the shame is not even on Emefiele. It should be, it is a sad commentary on the 8 years of the Buhari presidency. There is this other issue of 593 accounts worldwide, America, Europe, China. I don't know how possible that is, but I think the Obaze and his people should tell us in whose names those accounts were opened. So all I'm saying, yes, we are good in media trial, sensationalization of issues, which is what these guys thrive on. Now they have leaked it. Everybody is talking. Emefiele, for all I care, and I'm going to repeat this for the upteenth time, Emefiele may be the villain that everybody is saying that he is. But the truth of the matter is that where there is an investigation, proper things must be done.
Yeah.
Enough of the media trial, which is what we continue doing in this country every day.
Very true.
If there is an issue, now, Emefiele says he's going to sue Obaze, saying that the report was satanic. I wish he goes through with that threat, because Nigerians need to know what happened. A lot of atrocities were committed under former President Muhammad Buhari. And I've written it. I said unless and until Buhari is brought to give account, and that is the problem. So that all these things that are going on, in terms of this, they are a joke. We are not fighting corruption.
All right.
Nobody's fighting corruption in this country. And unless and until we kill this specter of corruption, Nigeria will go nowhere.
All right. Mr. Ikechukwu Amaechi, thank you very much for joining us. We always enjoy having you, and we look forward to having you again. All right. We have more conversations to look at this morning, and we want to urge you to be a part of our conversations.